Welcome to my presentation on Lightning Web Component open source. My name is Ashish Kumar. I'm a Salesforce training consultant in our company. So let's begin our journey in this uh, course. So the first question that we should ask is uh, what is Lightning Web Component and why should we use it? So it is basically a framework. As we have used Angular, React, or Vue, it is just like that. We can build application that can be hosted outside the Salesforce platform, and we can build customer-facing application using this. So any one of you who is having experience, any kind of experience in LWC, they can easily build components in this framework, and they don't have to learn this Angular and React, as the Angular and React have different approach for looping the templates, and for variable binding they use different kind of approach. And also we can use the same approach for referencing the modules. One thing we can't use it like that we do in LWC is we can't use the base components over here. We can't use components that are there in the component library of the LWC. So we have to build our own component. We can use SRDS for that. So let's see what we will learn in this presentation. So in this presentation, I will build a project using LWC open source framework, and 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 on this that application will use the data from the Salesforce org. And to use the data from the Salesforce org, we have to authenticate our local project first. And after that, for all these things like authenticating and fetching the data from the Salesforce org, we will use this JSForce on NPN module. And in this application, we will use SRDS design system. I am using this SRDS design system is because we are pretty much familiar with this. We can also use Bootstrap also. So and after that, we will see how the client server communication works in this open source framework. So let's move further and let's get started. So first of all, we'll see how we can set up our project. So to set up our project, we will fire this command, that is npx create LWC app. So I will suggest you to go to this website, that is lwc.dev, and over here you will find all the documentation related to this. And and if you have worked with any other kind of framework, you must have noticed that they have same kind of command for setting up the app. Like in React, they have same command like create React app, but here we use this kind of approach. So the last thing, that is my app, is for the folder name. So I have used the fetch account folder name. So if we run this command, we will be asked these questions like whether you want a simple setup or not, the name of your package, and what type of app you want. I want a standard web app. And since we are using client server communication over here, that is why we will use Express API server. And once you answer these questions, you will get this kind of folder. And once you get this folder, you have to open VS Code in it. So I have done this, and I have opened VS Code in this folder, and the whole structure looks like this. So let's move further and understand about this folder structure, how the things are here. So first of all, I will show you the package.json file. In this package.json, it comes with pre-installed dependencies like compression, express, and helmet. And it also has some scripts like in this presentation, we will quite a few times use this watch script. And And also I want to show you this source folder. In this source folder, we have two folders, that is client and server. The client is responsible for all the client-based activity and the server is for server-based activity. So let me run this application that we get pre-installed from the Salesforce team. Let's see how it looks like. So to open it, I will go to the localhost 3001. I guess it is open. So uh, so by default it looks like this. So Salesforce team has developed it for us, and we will change this component according to our need. So this comes pre-installed, and let's move further and see how we will authenticate our local project. So for this, we will use JS Force. So to use JS Force, we have to install the JS Force first, and we will install two modules for this. One will be the JS Force and one will be the .env. I will explain you both of them. Before that, let's move to the JS Force documentation website. So if you come over here, in this documentation website, that is jsforce.github.io, in the documentation tab, you will find all these details like how you can authenticate your app and how you can use this thing. So same thing I have used over here. Let's move to the later commits. I have added all the things in a Git repo so that it will be easier for you to explain. So let's move further in the commit and see whether uh, how we will authenticate our app. So for that, let's move to the server file. And in this server file, you can see that we are using JSForce and .env. So this .env module is for reading this .env file. So this .env file contains all the credential related stuff, and this API.js is just using all the data in that .env file. So and the JS Force has a method called connection to set up the login URL. You can set up the login URL like this, and for the login and for the authentication, we will use a username, password, and token like this. And once you are authenticated, you will get user ID, org ID, and URL. Since our app is already running, so it is fetching user ID and org ID like this. So we are authenticated. We will move further. In the further commits, we will see how we can fetch account data now. So to fetch account data, we have a query method like this. We will write SOQL query like this in the JS Force method. Like we have a query method. You can find more about it in this documentation, the same documentation I have showed you over here. If you go to the query part, you can see. So same thing I have done. Let's move to the further commit, and this time I will query the data and show it on the website, that is localhost 3001. Let's move it further and see our application, whether it is able to fetch the data or not. So yes, we are able to get the data in JSON format. Now we will see the codes. So if you see in the localhost 3001, we have kept the records in a JSON format, that how it is returned, and it also returns the total size of the records. So right now we are only having 16 records, so it is returning as the 16 records. And let's move further. Now we will see how we can send the data that is fetched on the server side to the client side. So as you can see, Right now we are only using this api.js, and we are only keeping the data on the server side, but on the application the client will see the client side only, so we will send these data to the client side. So let's move further in the commit and see how it's work. So this time we are getting data on the servers on the client side. Please mute your mic. There's some noise coming up. So, as you can see, this time I am fetching the data on this URL, and I am sending the response in a JSON format. And if you go to the client side, we have a method named getAccount that is fetching the data from the same URL to the to a method that is exported. And if you go to my module, that is account data table, and this account data table is using that method and displaying the data in a data table. Now you will see that the same template for each we are using, but in the React you will use different kind of approach for looping, and variable binding is also same. All the things we have to include lightning element, the same approach we have to follow, like that we do in the LWC. So like this we are able to show. Now let's move further, and now we will add SLDS styling. So to add SLDS styling, first what you have to do, you have to download the SLDS minified CSS from the uh, SLDS website. You have to go to that resources tab and download the minified CSS. Once you download it, you have to link it to the index.html. I will show you that. Let's move further in the commit and see how we can do that. So wait, uh, I have designed a data table also. So we we will now see the data table, and this is using the SLDS styling. And as you can see over here, I have added SLDS classes. And to link the SLDS modified CSS, what I have done, I have linked the style sheet. And one more important thing that you have to do, you have to add this synthetic shadow module also. Since LWC uses Shadow DOM, so this line of code will bypass it. And this module is very important if you want to add any kind of styling. So you have to add this, and let's move further. These two things you have to do only. Now let's move further. Now we will see, now in the previous commits we have seen we have passed data from the server to the client. So but this time we will pass data from the client to the server. So passing the data from the client to the server is a little bit tricky because of this cross origin resource sharing. So this mechanism restricts the cross domain data sharing, and we have to bypass it. And to bypass it, we have to install one more module, that is chorus. And once you install it, let me just first go to that commit and see whether we are able, what are the changes that we have to do. So let me just close all of them one more time. And if you go to this create account, I have created a component, and you can see it over here. If you click on this create account button, and if you fill these data, and if you hit this save, you will fire this method. Once once this method is fired, it will pass the data collected to this URL using the post methodology. And things are pretty much simple over here, but on the server side, we have to add the course module, and we have to use it like this. We have to do one more thing, like we have to add these line in the header also. So content security policy like this. And once we do all these things, we will be able to get the data from the client to the server. And using the previous JS course module, we have one more method, that is create. We can create any account record using this. So these lines of code. So to check whether we are on the right track or not, whether we are creating the right things, I will log in to my Salesforce account and create a account record. So let me just create one. Let me just fill it with some random data. Phone number can be anything, website can be anything, account name can be anything. Once I click on save, it will save my presentation account onto the Salesforce database, and it will also fetch all the accounts after that. And if I go to my org, if I refresh it, I will be able to see that presentation account over here like this. So we are able to create the data on the Salesforce database also. So up next, in the next presentation, I am planning to make a local app, a fully functional e-commerce website, and we will deploy it on the Heroku platform. We will use Heroku Connect and Heroku Postgres database for that. And we will add some features like sending an email whenever we purchase some products from whenever some customer purchases a product, they will get an email, features like that. So all the things are planned for the next presentation. So thank you.